Welcome back, guys. Everything Apple Pro here. Another dose of Apple leaks and news, including the iPhone 13, a lot of recent developments, and a couple exclusives there. We've got the Apple Watch Series 7 with a new squared body. I gotta say, it looks fantastic, especially in green. And we got iOS 15 coming up next week, and some feature leaks and rumors I'd like to share, and everything in between. Now, for my longtime fans out there, I do apologize. I really don't like not posting, but what we're doing over at Phone Rebel, I think, long-term, passion-wise, far more important for me. We're trying to build the best iPhone case ever. I think with Gen 3, we're getting a lot closer. We're gonna do metal buttons, this new styling, thinner, lighter. Grip is a big one for us, and potentially colors. For those of you waiting on the Open Series case, the Flex Series, now we're getting our prototypes within a week, and I think we're gonna make a summer release. Stay tuned for that one. As always, Gen 2 in stock, the strongest MagSafe system in any case on the market. PhoneRebel.com, and our Gen 1 cases are cheaper than ever. Thanks for supporting and helping us build something big. All right, so let's start out with the Apple Watch Series 7. This one's coming from Prosser, who's just been on a leaking spree lately. It shows us a revamped Apple Watch chassis design. Now squared, very reminiscent of the iPhone 12. He says this is based off of actual CAD data. What you're seeing here is very, very close to final, if not the actual final design. If we look on the vent side here, where usually we had the smaller vent holes for the mic speaker, now they extend all the way down the chassis, and I gotta say, it looks nice, very futuristic. The digital crown does remain. It does seem like the screen still has a 2.5D type glass. I think it would be difficult for Apple to make a flat glass, not to mention not very user-friendly. The back is still gonna extend. Prosser says that the overall screen sizes will stay the same, 40 and 44 millimeters, but Apple has been testing a smaller bezel, larger display variant. Unclear if it'll make it to the final release. Now, he says that he's only seen the physical design, so he doesn't really know about any new specifications, new sensors. What we've heard previously is a blood glucose monitoring system, which probably will be delayed into next year, blood pressure system, and blood alcohol, but that's all slated for 2022. So mostly just a physical redesign this year. Prosser says one of the colors Apple is particularly set on is the green, and he says that although that may not make it to the final release, Apple has been experimenting with a number of different colors. And lastly, Prosser states that this very well may be the Apple Watch Series 8. So we're seeing a design that's slated for 2022, likely or possibly to come with micro LED. And speaking of that, last year in August, we heard that that may take 3 to 4 years to arrive. And that's a more concentrated form of mini LED, truly crazy technology. They're gonna debut it in smaller displays first, like smartwatches. Then your iPhone will eventually have a micro LED display. So this design may not release this year, but it very well may be the Series 7. And moving on to iPhone 13 leaks, got a couple exclusives for you from Max Weinbach. One, a color swatch of the new iPhone 13 Pro graphite color. Certainly a lot darker than the current offering. He previously reported that Apple is going a lot darker on their space gray or graphite offering for 2021. And another exciting capability for the iPhone 13 lineup regarding the camera. So Apple is working on a new electronic image stabilization system that works across all frame rates and resolutions. Internally, it's called Warp, and he believes it has something to do with subject tracking. And we know that Apple is working extensively on stabilization, so this certainly fits the bill on recent rumors. And another report by Digitimes reiterates that yes, we will be seeing sensor shift stabilization across the iPhone 13 lineup. So every model will have their wide-angle sensor shift stabilized with the magnets. Very impressive technology, debuted originally on the 12 Pro Max wide-angle sensor. And another recent report, this time by Wedbush analyst Dan Ives, claims that yes, 1 terabyte will be an option on this year's iPhones, except limited to the 13 Pro and 13 Pro Max models. With the higher storage requirements for ProRes files, the Pros certainly could use this feature. And from the same report, Dan Ives does report that LiDAR will be happening across the lineup. So even the 13 and 13 mini, which everyone else is disagreeing with, and recent CADs. By the way, Prosser has made 2 recent CADs available, the 13 and 13 mini. so you can download them and take a look at them yourself. Those do not show a LiDAR sensor, so it's highly unlikely that Apple would put LiDAR on the base models. Actually, taking a look at the 13 Pro CADs, LiDAR sensor is larger than the 12 Pro and 12 Pro Max. Apple's certainly investing a lot of money into this tech. They're not just gonna throw it on the base models, especially one they're about to axe next year. And a new leak details the actual milliamp battery capacities of the iPhone 13 lineup. And happy to report that they're all bigger. It shows us that the iPhone 13 Pro Max will have an 18% larger battery. The iPhone 13, 13 Pro will have a 9% larger battery, and the 13 mini an 8% larger battery. So not terribly substantial, but the 13 Pro Max with all its room inside does get the biggest battery boost. Of course, 120 Hertz, it's gonna need it. And speaking of 120 Hertz displays, Samsung and LG have started their production of Apple's displays for the 13 and 13 Pro, and I can't wait to seamlessly glide across content in 120 Hertz. Now, larger batteries are great, but the Apple A15 will likely be another huge efficiency boost as it's working on a revised version of 5nm. DigiTimes reports that TSMC has officially begun production on the Apple A15. All systems set to go. Looks like we're on for the September launch of the iPhone 13. Your passport is going to be in your iPhone very soon. I remember talking about this patent a few years ago. Now Apple once again is pushing for passports and digital IDs, driver licenses to be in your phone with a new digital authentication system. This latest patent shows us that Apple is still doggedly chasing this one, and eventually everything will be digitized. No surprise there. And regarding next year's iPhone, Qualcomm has shared more details on their upcoming X65 modem. This one has more power efficiency and support for more millimeter wave bands. And next year is going to be the last year where Apple uses third-party modems. 2023, we're gonna start seeing in-house Apple-built modems. And Mark Gurman of Bloomberg gives us an update on AirPods 3 and AirPods Pro 2 launch dates. So AirPods 3 coming this year, by end of year. AirPods Pro 2, the more ambitious design without the stem, so all integrated into one little bud. That's coming in 2022. Apple wasn't able to make that happen in time, but certainly is still working on it. And also some MacBook news. So the upcoming 14 and 16-inch MacBook Pros, according to Wedbush analyst Dan Ives, will be arriving at WWDC next week. From Mark Gurman of Bloomberg, he reports that we'll be seeing a 10-core Apple M chip, no name there, but it'll be accompanied with up to 64 gigabytes of RAM and up to 32 gigabytes GPU cores. Gurman does report that these new MacBooks will have an HDMI port, and MagSafe, of course, is coming back to the MacBooks. A redesigned chassis, more square-like, and in our renders, it's kind of hard to convey that. Square bodies usually look a little fatter. There's also a sketchy rumor going around that we won't be seeing a MacBook Pro logo on the front, like the new iMacs. And the iPod brand may not yet be dead. According to Steve Moser, and this is a rumor, nothing substantial, Apple may plan on releasing an iPod Touch 8th generation this fall, so keeping the iPod brand alive. I'd like to see it, and I'd like to see a polished Chrome back too, and some iOS 15 stuff. According to an extensive report by Bloomberg, we're going to be seeing some major changes, but nothing all too game-changing in iOS 15. So first off, on the iPad, we'll be seeing the ability to use widgets throughout the home screen, not limited to just the left column, and you'll be able to resize them. There'll be more sizes of widgets. Gurman also reports that there will be new notification preferences for different automatic replies based on new statuses such as working, sleeping, driving, and different contexts for different replies. Another big one Gurman says is iMessage. So Apple is working on iMessage's capabilities. They're trying to expand it to compete more with WhatsApp, more of a social network rather than just a messaging client. And Apple recently PR'd a slew of new accessibility features that they'll be adding to iOS 15. Essentially a variety of new ways to interact with your devices with a variety of different disabilities. And in that accessibility feature preview, there's actually what could be a hint or glimpse of a new UI for the navigation bar in iOS 15, where it just blends in with the buttons. Looks nice, could be giving us a hint at the design direction Apple is taking. Also recently rumored is a food tracking feature built right into the Health app. And also from a Twitter leaker, a slew of iOS 15 features, iPhone 13 features. In particular, the Control Center will be getting a redesign to look more like Big Sur. more compact, clean, tiny. And lastly, the iPhone bootloader runs Doom. This is in Pongo OS, a component of CheckRain. Just another one to add to the list. And there it is. See you guys at WWDC with iOS 15 next week. Peace.